Hello and welcome to Default is All, where we take on everything by default, and we'll be taking everything by default for Christmas. This is the kickoff of 3 Christmas-themed episodes. We'll be counting down each of our top 3 favorite Christmas movies and the one very, very popular Christmas film that we don't quite agree with. So today we'll be doing my top 3, tomorrow Kyle's top 3, and on Saturday, TJ's top 3. First, I'd like to welcome you all to the show. TJ, how's it going?
Always a pleasure. I'm glad to be in the place. I'm smiling, and there's this hint of poinsettia and mistletoe in the air. I like it. I'm getting a little wet for it. I'm ready.
As long as it's not over both of our heads, I'm okay with it. I like you, TJ. You're always welcome on the show, but I don't like it that much.
I'm just saying, bro. I got some soft lips, man.
Bro, he's so lucky, Demos. Whatever.
And Kyle, how's it going?
Hey, man, paying tribute to tell you why it's the most wonderful time of the year in just a bit, folks. By default.
So Christmas is one of my favorite holidays, and like I've said on the show before, I believe that the Christmas films are in and of themselves a genre. And for me, when it comes to picking the right holiday movie, I tend to look at 3 general themes, and the themes are family, hope, and wonder. And I have to begin with my number 3 choice, which is specifically the theme of family. And I can't think of a better Christmas film that exemplifies this than National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. How can you go wrong? Well, Clark Griswold will show you how you could go wrong. I always found it funny, before I even talk about this film, that the Vacation series, which sparked a very well-known song, Holiday Road by Lindsey Buckingham, how the one holiday-themed movie in this series is the only one that doesn't feature this song.
That's funny.
Well,
that's awesome.
Although the song that they do have, the opening song, Christmas Vacation, is wonderful in its own right. Arguably the second best of the National Lampoon Vacation films. Behind the original, I still think the original is a better film, but taking the slow burn of Clark Griswold into account, this film, it shows the hang-ups of the holidays. It shows the real interactions and angst behind the holidays, but then it has a very sweet side that I think is kind of underappreciated. I think one of my favorite scenes in the film is when he gets trapped in the attic and he starts watching some of the old videos of himself when he was a kid and so forth. And that's a quiet, sweet, genuine moment that you don't really see much in these types of comedies. Even though it has like all these crazy slapstick, crazy moments, it's confident enough to take a step back and showcase these sweet moments. And for that, there's a warm spot in my heart for this film, and it's one of the earliest Christmas movies I ever saw. And as a kid, I loved seeing Chevy Chase go crazy trying to put up the Christmas lights and so forth. It may have been one of the reasons I ended up as a young kid loving Home Improvement, seeing Tim Allen do this pretty much the same crazy thing year after year. But as I grow older, my appreciation for this film has taken on a different light, and I started appreciating the genuine family moments of the film.
Amazing pick. Strong take indeed. The only reason why I left it off my list, frankly, is because, let's just put it this way, you can watch it in other parts of the year other than Christmas and still have it be great. I kind of forgot to put it in that holiday genre, but certainly not taking away from your take there. Perfect. Hey, listen, man, nothing beats just the various aspects it goes through with the different parts of the family, making sure that each and every person is accounted for. You know, the stiff mother-in-law, the sentimental grandparent, the jackass uncle, whatever. All of them are there and accounted for, and some funny moments are created all the way around.
And poor terrorized neighbors. You can't go wrong with poor terrorized neighbors.
Or rich terrorized neighbors, depending on who you're referring to in the case of the yuppies next door. But I digress.
You'll hear me talk a lot more about this movie, whenever we do my ELP, but I have to commend you on putting it in your top 3. And then one thing that I want to focus on really quickly, you said that it was the second best in the collection of vacation movies, and I'm right there with you. That's been a debate in my house. The fact that you put this in your top 3, kudos to you, sir.
Moving on to my number 2, which exemplifies the theme of wonder. And for me, there's a lot of nostalgia behind this. And in a strange way, how Christmas Vacation led me to my love of Home Improvement. Home Improvement led me to my love of the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. What a wildly original take on a holiday film. I mean, this is a Disney film that basically features Tim the Toolman Taylor murdering Santa Claus, putting on the suit, and then going throughout a film where it's a family version of The Fly as he slowly starts transforming into...
That's what you come up with.
I mean,
hot takes, baby, hot takes.
Woo!
Watching the film recently, I tried to see it from the mother's point of view without her knowing that there's magic and so forth. Just seeing her ex-husband, transform his body and then kidnap the kid from Thanksgiving until Christmas. Because it dares to go in those areas, I think that the emotional impact of the film is stronger. I love the score by Michael Convertino. There's a sense of real magic and wonder in this film that you will not find in any of the sequels. Don't even bother. Where the original Santa Claus has a sense of the Christmas spirit, the sequels are as plastic as the plastic Santa toy ass, and that's the villain of the second film. I think that one of the reasons that the Santa Claus isn't as highly regarded today as it should be is that the sequels kind of soured its reputation.
When it comes to the Santa Claus, you're expecting that wholesome Disney goodness, and you get a little something a little different than that, and it plays well and stays fun and wholesome like a Christmas movie kind of has to be, air quotes. Listen, you're not going to hear me argue with Tim Allen and that role. I remember watching it as a senior or junior in high school with my girlfriend, and we were both mind blown about how good it turned out, period.
When you bring this up, nothing says Christmas like murder and neglect. The Santa Claus, I agree with your assessment. I think that the fact that the second one and the third one weren't as good is why the original doesn't get the love. I personally didn't have... I thought the second one was cute. The whole Mrs. Claus as being the whole, there's a clause that you missed, the Mrs. Claus. I thought that was cute. But for that one, taking the first one and let's say the second and third one don't exist, I said the first one standing alone, I think they did that work, man. Excellent choice.
My approach to the sequels is where the original is pure cane sugar, these sequels are saccharin.
That works. That works.
It's the best way I can describe it. So on to this one. This is going to be my most controversial pick of the evening, and it's my very, very popular Christmas movie that I personally cannot stand. And it is the Jim Carrey, Ron Howard directed live-action adaptation of The Grinch That Stole Christmas. Dear God. Now, before anybody says anything, the original cartoon classic adaptation of the Dr. Seuss book is the best. It's fantastic. I love it. It gets the message across perfectly, and it's a simple, beautiful Christmas message that this abomination of a movie butchers beyond belief. The best way I can describe the visual tapestry of this movie is if you ate a bunch of Halloween candy, followed up by a bunch of Christmas candy, threw it all up, and then they decided to film the end result. That is that is my visual representation of The Grinch. It's a short, simple story that they tried to extend to this full-length film. And the padding absolutely destroys it. Everything about this movie, the colors, the set design, the crazy Dutch angles and the close-ups and so forth. It's an attack on the senses watching this. And even worse so, I mean, the Who and Whoville, so the town that's supposed to be emblematic of the spirit of Christmas, are the most commercialized BS. Everything that I abhor about Christmas, these Who's represent. I actually root for the Grinch throughout the film. I want to see these get their get their Christmas stolen from them.
We got our first bleep on the strength of the Who's of Whoville. Holy crap! What's up with that, Carlos?
But to its credit, there is one thing about the Grinch that I do like quite a bit, and that's Jim Carrey's performance. Through all that latex, through all that makeup and costuming, he's able to bring about such a dynamic performance. That is a wonder. And to just show how great his performance in this film is, compare it to the later interpretation of The Cat in the Hat starring Mike Myers, a far worse movie. And by God, if I thought that Mike Myers, the Halloween villain, was scary, it doesn't stand us. If I found that cat lurking through my house, that would be the first time I would actually have full support for assault weapons.
Nice.
Anyway, listen, man. First of all, I'm going to go where you went first with Jim Carrey. If you have a character that's over the top and any bit skinny, if you don't pick Jim Carrey, you're the problem, and the Grinch fits it. Now, I'm going to say this. The one good thing, in my opinion, about the making of that movie is I like that they did the experiment, meaning you tried to bring a Seuss novel to life. That's a tall order, which now you can see why they fell so short of it. I mean, listen, go back 20 or 30 seconds and hear Demos's rather rancid yet well enunciated take that made TJ go, damn, okay. That should tell. But then again, when you really think about it, if it was crystallized in a more pleasant format, are you really that far off of what a Dr. Seuss book generally is? It's all over the place. So I can see what they were trying for. They just missed dramatically. I don't think it's the worst one out there, but it's certainly worth the lack thereof and kudos that you present. I'm with you on that.
Because when I think of Dr. Seuss adaptations, I think of people rubbing dog anuses in people's faces. Is exactly what I think of.
Some people are into that. Don't judge.
I'd like to see him rhyme that scene.
Whoville is one that is the strangest of places where people rub their dogs by the ends of their anuses.
Jesus Christ, Kyle.
You're the one talking about puking holiday candy everywhere. I just made a rhyme.
No. My reaction was one of like demented respect. So,
if I can say anything about this film, I'm gonna say this. This right here is an awesome segue. Watch my episode on Saturday, folks, because I got another opinion on this film. That's all I'm gonna say. Holla at your boy.
I mentioned this in our Christmas Story episode. I have a reverence for a lot of the older Christmas classics. I love It's a Wonderful Life. I love Holiday Inn. I think there's almost a Christmas card quality to them that just makes you feel warm whenever you watch these films. But my favorite Christmas movie is one that features a holiday front and center and really sparks the quality of hope and goodwill. And that's The Bishop's Wife, starring Cary Grant, David Niven, and Loretta Young. And not many of you might be familiar with this movie. It was later remade in the 90s with Denzel Washington, and it was retitled The Preacher's Wife. When most people hear about The Bishop's Wife, they may take a step back because of the title. It's not a very good title. In fact, the film didn't do very well at the box office until they renamed it Carrey and The Bishop's Wife, and suddenly sales jumped by 25% because people didn't think it was this offbeat religious film. So
yeah,
The Bishop...
I think I want on the birth of Christ is to see a religious movie.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? And this is the more religious of my picks. But the best part about it is it doesn't hit you over the head with it. The film centers around a bishop and he keeps praying for guidance and for ways so he can get the funds to build this cathedral. This venture has enveloped him so much that he has lost sight of what's important in his life, his wife and his daughter and so forth. And Cary Grant shows up as an angel who basically tears his life upside down and starts hitting on his wife. Even the preacher at one point thinks that Cary Grant isn't an angel. He's a demon sent from hell to ruin his life. It takes this just wonderful, wonderful turn, and also makes you question whose prayers are actually being answered throughout the film. And Cary Grant's performance in this, all the performances are fantastic, but Cary Grant is just like his joyful jubilance and energy. You know, just seeing him walk down a snow-covered street, you do not for an instant hesitate at thinking that this man is an angel, that he has these extraordinary supernatural powers that he blesses everyone throughout the film with.
Just thinking, the world changes, but two things remain constant.
What?
Youth and beauty. Now, they're really one and the same thing.
Yes. The trouble is people grow old.
Not everybody. The only people who grow old were born old to begin with. You were born young. You'll remain that way.
Oh, I wish I could believe.
You may.
It's not a saccharine take. The people whose lives he touches actually have genuine tragedies, and seeing him give these small rays of hope to these characters is heartwarming. There's one aspect of the Bishop's Wife which I think is interesting. Now, this is a movie that was made in 1947, and it actually features a character that's an atheist in the film. And the best part about it is that they do not shame him for being an atheist. Now, it does take a root throughout. By the end of it, he ends up going to church and so forth because of his own supernatural experiences. But unlike a lot of modern day Christian films, which paint atheists as the villain of all villains, it actually takes a very respectful root. And I think that's quite brave and terrific and damn progressive for a 1940s film to be this way, to exude this type of tolerance, when today's films just take the black and white route. So I very, very much recommend The Bishop's Wife. It is a true Christmas classic.
I've heard of it because I saw The Preacher's Wife. So that was one of those things where I found out that it was a remake. So I found out about the original, but I haven't actually seen it. Now, because I respect your opinion as a critic, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to give it a glance because you know some historical movies that I haven't really gotten into yet. I'm going to give it a look.
I definitely recommend look past the title and just sit back and enjoy a genuine holiday classic. So those are my top 3 picks and the one that I cannot stand. Stay tuned tomorrow for Kyle's picks. I am quite excited to hear what he has to say. And on Saturday, TJ, thanks for joining us, guys. You can find me on HilarityByDefault.com every week for new movie reviews and other fun stuff. On Twitter @DefaultHilarity, and on Facebook, HilarityByDefault.com. Kyle, where can we find you?
Of course, you'll find me on Twitter @TheSOTG, and of course, as the student of the game on Facebook.
Follow me on Twitter and Snapchat so you can see how I'm living @Tokeo J. That's TOKEO J. Holla at your boy.
Fantastic, and we'll see you tomorrow by default.